Okay, let's be real for a second. What actually separates a completely random spray and pray lucky shot from a guaranteed, perfectly executed headshot? You know the ones. Is it just insane reflexes? Or is there actually a deeper science at play here?
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tearing down the anatomy of a perfect headshot. We're going to break down the exact hardware, the optimal settings, and the pro tactics you need to consistently land headshots in fast-paced competitive games like Free Fire. We are looking at this from literally every angle to give you that ultimate edge. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the science of precision, then dial in optimal sensitivity settings, perfect your HUD layout, compare red versus white aim, and finally, look at the emulator advantage. Let's get into it. All right, part one, the science of precision. We're talking pixels, screens, and focus. We've got to start with the physical layer. Before you even touch a single in-game setting, your monitor hardware and your actual biological eyes are interacting. And it all starts with pixel pitch, which gives us PPI, or pixels per inch. Basically, a smaller pixel pitch means a higher PPI. And this matters immensely, guys, because it minimizes those jagged, stair-stepped edges, aliasing, on your crosshair. A higher PPI reduces visual noise, giving you a crystal clear canvas for spotting distant enemies, which just massively accelerates your target acquisition. To put that into perspective, take a look at the competitive sweet spot. A standard 24-inch 1080p monitor gives you about 92 PPI. That can actually feel a bit soft when you're trying to do ultra-precise crosshair work. But step up to a 27-inch 1440p monitor and you hit about 109 PPI. It's a game changer. You get incredible clarity without sacrificing those absolutely crucial high frame rates you need for esports. It's basically the perfect balance of sharpness and speed. Now, let's look at the exact math behind this precision. 960 for the x-axis and 540 for the y-axis. So what are those numbers? Well, they're the precise mathematical center coordinates of a standard 1080p screen. Literally everything you do in a shooter revolves around this one dead center pixel. And coupling that exact center point with a high-resolution display helps you achieve what researchers actually call the quiet eye. Studies in esports have verified that this quiet eye phase, which is basically a moment of intense cognitive focus, is totally crucial for locking onto tiny, distant targets. A crisp display literally helps your brain lock onto threats faster. How cool is that? Moving on to part two, optimal sensitivity settings. Time to dial in the digital numbers. So with the hardware sorted, let's talk about your recommended sensitivity settings. Notice the delicate balance between speed and control here. You want your general sensitivity extremely high. We're talking between 90 and 100 for super quick crosshair adjustments. But here's the secret sensitivity pro players use. You step it down progressively for scopes. You put your red dot at 85 to 95 for mid-range, but then drop your AWM sniper scope all the way down to 50 to 60. That way, you maintain surgical aim on those tiny, faraway targets. All right, part three, perfecting your HUD layout. Let's build your custom control center. Look, even the absolute best sensitivities in the world are entirely useless if your hands can't react in time. You have to nail down your HUD settings layout. For mobile setups, you want to keep your fire button size right between 50 and 70%. Why? Because a larger button gives your thumb the real estate it needs for precise drag shooting. And you really want to be using a 3 or 4 finger claw grip for this. Notice how everything here is optimized for pure speed, weapon switch right by your thumb, and scope right next to your index finger. No wasted movement. Okay, I've got to share this massive pro tactic. It's the center aim trick. You can actually use your pet emote icon as a permanent, custom sniper crosshair. Seriously, you just shrink the icon down and lock it directly into that exact mathematical center of your screen we talked about earlier. Boom! Now you can land no-scope sniper shots with absolutely insane accuracy. Next up, part four, red versus white aim. Let's get into the mechanical execution. With your settings completely dialed in, we finally reach the physical execution phase, the infamous drag headshot. Now, there are two main aim techniques here. First is red aim. For mid to long-range combat, you let your reticle turn red by locking onto the enemy's chest, and then you just perform a simple straight drag upwards to hit the head. But then you have white aim, which requires a much higher sensitivity. You intentionally keep the reticle white totally off the enemy's body and do a swift rotation drag. A lot of people call it a U-drag. This violently snaps the aim directly to the head and is just unbelievably effective for those flashy one-tap shots. But here's a massive mistake I see constantly. Players looking down at the ground while running. If an enemy surprises you, your aim is going to get stuck right on their legs. You absolutely must sprint with your aim straight ahead at chest level. That way, if a fight suddenly breaks out, your reticule naturally snaps to their upper body, which sets you up perfectly for an easy red aim drag straight up to the dome. And of course, these aim techniques need the right foundation. These are your critical settings for a drag headshot. Keeping aim precision on default is absolutely vital because it lets the game's built-in mechanics assist your micro movements. Oh, and having quick weapon switch set to on, that is totally mandatory if you want to execute those rapid white aim rotation drags cleanly. Finally, Part 5, the emulator advantage. We're breaking the mobile limit. So what if you want to push these tactics to the absolute maximum? Well, PC emulators like BlueStacks give you a massive, massive mechanical advantage. They let you map all those intricate touch controls straight to a physical keyboard and mouse. Taking that fire button drag technique and executing it with the physical swipe of a mouse, it gives you unmatched accuracy. Plus, you get to run the game at maximum graphics without your phone turning into a heater and dropping frames. This emulator advantage really completes our perfect headshot anatomy. By pushing your graphics to the absolute limit on a PC, an emulator ensures that your hardware's high pixel pitch and the game's high frames per second perfectly support your physical aim. It literally removes visual friction, so your quiet eye can just do its thing without any interruptions. We have covered a lot today. The exact center pixels of your screen, the precise recommended sensitivity settings to dial in, secret HUD layouts, and the mechanical drag techniques you need to win. So, now that your hardware, your HUD, and your hands are perfectly synced up, the only question left is, are you ready to take this anatomy lesson and land a guaranteed headshot in your very next game? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I will see you out on the battlefield.